Hello everybody, and welcome to this edition of True Lifestyles, and I will be covering the Jared Bridegan case. And this is a case very close to my heart because I do have personal ties to this case in the community that I live in and neighboring communities and friends who actually knew Jared. And this case, I've been hesitant to cover it because Jared's ex-wife, alleged co-conspirator to this murder for hire, still lived in Jacksonville Beach, and I was hesitant to cover any cases that were too close to where I lived at. But because this case is gaining a lot of attention and there have been arrests made, and there probably will be more arrests made, much like the Dan Markel murder. A lot of you have been discussing in the chats that this case is a lot like the Dan Markel murder, and a lot of the people that follow my channel also follow the Dan Markel murder. So let me just jump right into the personal ties that I have to this case before I go ahead and take you through a really wonderful article that explains this case from beginning to where we are today. First, let me just say that one of my friends actually went to church with Jared and his family at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And also, Jared's widow has started a group on Facebook and Instagram, Justice for Jared, and also is asking people to donate to the cause of Bexley's Boxes, which is meant to give children who have to spend time at the jail, much like little Bexley did after her father was murdered. There was no diapers for her. There was no blankets or any comfort things for children whose parents have been arrested or, God forbid, murdered at the police station. So Jared's widow is putting together this cause, a nonprofit called Bexley Boxes, and Kirsten Bridegan is working very hard, and I urge you to follow Justice for Jared on Facebook and on Instagram if you care about this case and want more information about this case. And before I jump right into this wonderful article which explains where we are today, I just wanted to note that the street, the sanctuary where Jared was killed, where the tire is in the street, that one-way street, in this town is such a somber place. I can't even bring myself to go there, by there anymore. It's just so crazy how this all unfolded with the tire in the road and this orchestrated hit. And let's just hope that all of the alleged co-conspirators and anyone involved in Jared's murder is brought to justice. And that is my goal with sharing this video. Let me just jump to a video where I explain exactly what's going on today. All right, thank you so much for tuning in to investigate these updates about Jared Bridegan's death investigation, which is now believed to be an orchestrated murder for hire homicide. And I just want to bring you guys up to date about what we know to this day about this tragic murder of this father of four in Jacksonville Beach. And this is a wonderful article that was written by Jacksonville.com, which pretty much explains everything you possibly need to know about this case. On the evening of February 16th of 2022, Jared had dropped off his 10-year-old twin son and daughter to his ex-wife's home in Jacksonville Beach and was headed back to St. Augustine, where he lived, with his 2-year-old daughter in the car. And he stopped because of a tire on the road near the exit of the sanctuary neighborhood. In what police believe was a planned attack, he was shot multiple times as he apparently attempted to move the tire. His vehicle's hazard lights were still blinking, with his daughter sitting in her car seat unharmed. Rewards for leads as to who was responsible for this execution quickly soared, and soon it became global whodunit that captured media's attention. He was a 33-year-old Microsoft executive and father of four. He had 2 children with his ex-wife, Shanna Gardner-Fernandez, who lived in Jacksonville Beach, and 2 with current wife Kirsten Bridegan in St. Augustine. So Jared was ambushed during his regular routine, and it was time for him to drop off the 2 children he shared with his ex-wife. He was driving back home with one of his younger daughters in the back seat when he came across a tire in the road. When he got out, he was gunned down at close range. Police say it was not a robbery. There haven't been any arrests yet, but on Wednesday, January 25th of 2023, Jacksonville Police Department Chief Jean Paul Smith and State Attorney Melissa Nelson announced the arrest of Henry Arthur Tenen, 61-year-old, on charges of conspiracy to commit murder and second-degree murder with a weapon, accessory after the fact to a capital felony, and child abuse. Who is Henry Tenen? Tenen has 9 arrests in Jacksonville on minor offenses, according to jail records show that he was already in jail waiting for trial August 18th. Charges of a possession of a weapon, felon, and driving with a suspended and revoked license on a 3rd subsequent conviction. That arrest report stated that he had a shotgun in a trunk on a traffic stop. His address listed in this 8700 block of Old Kings Road in his most recent court documents. However, some People Finder online research tools listed 5200 block of Potomac Avenue. Property records show that the ex-wife's husband owned the rental property from 2017 to October of 2022. Was there someone else involved in the death of Jared Bridegan? State Attorney Melissa Nelson, neither she nor Jacksonville Police believe Jean Paul Smith offered any hint as to a motive or anyone else that might be involved. But many of us speculate that Jared's ex-wife has been involved and her new husband. All right, so what other details have been released in this case? It was a planned and targeted ambush and murder. Jacksonville Police Chief Jean Paul Smith said, announcing the arrest of Tenen, saying that the tire was placed in the road, that Bridegan regularly traveled to visit his 2 children, and that he was shot when he stopped to apparently remove the road hazard. So these are the cars that we were all on the lookout for in this past year. I was so glad that there have been arrests. And after checking video from the homes and businesses in the area that night, Jacksonville police investigators determined that a dark-colored Ford F-150 with tan-brown running boards, likely a 2004 to 2008 model with a silver toolbox in the back, may have been involved. So let's talk about Jared's ex-wife, Shanna Gardner-Fernandez, who is also, by the way, a very wealthy heiress. I believe her mother started the arts and crafts called Stamping Up, if any of you guys have ever heard of that. So anyway, so Gardner-Fernandez is Bridegan's ex-wife. She drew immediate scrutiny due to the couple's ugly divorce and not attending his funeral or initially speaking out. She married her second husband, Mario Enrique Fernandez, in 2018 and runs a company called Beach Baked 904. And sidebar, she has moved, according to, I believe, I heard on Nancy Grace, she has left town. So I'm not sure how that business is doing. I'll have to look into it. So she said, I feel for Jared's family, what they're going through. I can't even imagine, she told the Times Union in June. I have tried to be respectful and I've tried to give them space. A lot of people are asking why Shanna hired a attorney. So early on, she hired a prominent Jacksonville defense attorney, Hank Cox, to help protect her family from the publicity and sensationalism that included invasive photos of her and her children in a local park and implications she was involved in the shooting. The intense media coverage has become very loud and it made her children feel unsafe. My kids are 10. They understand everything that's going on, she told the Times Union. They see this and they are scared, terrified, and struggling. And those are the twins that she shared with Jared. So who are Shanna Gardner-Fernandez's parents? Her parents are Sterling and Shelley Gardner, co-founders of the highly successful Stamping Up arts and crafts company and fixtures in the Mormon community in Utah. So what happened in the divorce between Jared Bridegan and Shanna Gardner-Fernandez? She is from Utah and met Bridegan while visiting friends in Florida in 2009. They married in 2010 in Salt Lake City, and at some point they moved to Connecticut started having trouble involving her and her personal trainer. She denied to the Times-Union that she had an affair. She filed for divorce in February 2015 and sought primary custody of their twin children. The court file has about 300 entries and motions. Sounds a lot like the Dan Markel murder, like many of you noticed. Gardner-Fernandez accused Bridegan of disturbing and abusive behavior towards the children, and he accused her of spying on him and treating him in a disparaging manner in front of the children. She declined to comment on the details of the divorce with the Times-Union, explaining that I don't see any good in airing dirty laundry in our relationship. Our relationship was pretty complicated and remained pretty complicated. So Shanna's husband, Mario Fernandez, Gardner-Fernandez told the Times-Union in June that her husband manages a rental properties and has been a big supporter during the ordeal. Mario, who's 34, also was a subject of a Jacksonville Beach incident because a neighbor felt he was intimidating her because she fed stray cats and he didn't like it. She said he intentionally walked his pit bull right up to where she was feeding them, according to the 2018 incident report. He said he was walking his dog and was nothing malicious. The officer advised him about the municipal ordinance involving dangerous dogs and suggested he contact animal control if there was a problem with feral cats. Fox News also reported another run-in threat involving Fernandez over cats. So Shanna's husband has a few run-ins with complaints asking if Shanna Gardner-Fernandez and Mario Fernandez still live in Jacksonville Beach. Property records show the couple still owns their Marsh Inlet Court home in Jacksonville Beach, but also it has also been put up for sale at this point. I have heard that they have left. According to my sources, I believe that was on Nancy Grace. So Kirsten Bridegan, Jared's widow, has 2 young children with Jared. Previously was an account manager before taking on the role of a full-time mom. She has been proactive in trying to make sure Jared's story isn't forgotten, creating the Instagram account Justice for Jared, also sometimes fearful for her family's safety. She also is determined to help children who are taken to law enforcement under these circumstances, waiting for family to arrive. She created the Bexley box and is working on getting them to local police stations and sheriff's offices. The Bexley box will be filled with diapers, sippy cups, snacks, toys, blankets, stuffed animals, and premixed formula. She told First Coast News in a rush to get to the Jacksonville Police Department that night she didn't think about what to bring, not knowing the hours that they'd be there. What did Kirsten Bridegan say about the arrest? And did she know Henry Tenen? Kirsten Bridegan told WJXT TV4, it's pretty clear that somehow knew his route, his schedule. I have felt since the beginning that this was planned, that this was thought out, and this was a specific to Jared. I'm not surprised that they announced that Henry Tenen, someone that we have never heard of, that Jared didn't know, wasn't alone in this. So what did Jared Bridegan's brother have to say about what happened? I won't get into specifics, but I did have several conversations with Jared where he did express concerns that something like this could happen to him. Adam Bridegan told WJXT TV4 he did have concerns on his life. There is still a reward of $55,000, and this arrest does seem to be the best information so far in this case. And I just wanted to note that everybody go follow Justice for Jared, and let's hope for more arrests in this case for this wonderful dad. Thank you so much for watching this video about Justice for Jared. We pray that he gets justice and that Kirsten and his children are able to be at peace with more arrests, and I will give you guys updates as those roll in. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.